Forcing control actively degrades your motor cortex, yet deliberate withdrawal triggers a paradoxical surge in neural efficiency. Your nervous system builds command pathways through inhibition, not force. Stepping back literally rewires your physical control. You have been told to grip tighter, to push harder, to manage every variable until the outcome bends to your will. Listen closely. The moment you force the river, it floods. The moment you demand the silence, it shatters. We will return to this tension in a moment. But first, observe your own posture. Your shoulders rise when you reach for certainty. Your breath shortens when you try to command the next hour. You are carrying weight that was never meant to be carried. I will tell you something quiet before we walk deeper. By the end of this hour, you will understand how the open palm holds more power than the clenched fist. You do not need another strategy for dominance. You need the architecture of release. We live inside a culture of friction. Every application demands a swipe. Every conversation requires a response. Every uncertainty is treated as a threat to be neutralized. You are conditioned to believe that hesitation is failure, that stillness is surrender, that stepping away is a sign of weakness. But nature operates on a different rhythm. Watch the old pine on the ridge. When the winter storm arrives, it does not brace against the wind. It bends. It allows the gale to pass through its branches. The rigid oak snaps. The flexible pine endures. The ancients understood this geometry. They called it reserve. They called it withdrawal. They knew that command does not live in the muscle. It lives in the space between intention and action. Marcus Aurelius wrote from the northern frontiers, surrounded by legions and logistics and endless demands for his attention. He did not write about conquering his environment. He wrote about stepping inside himself. He observed the machinery of empire and chose not to pull the levers of panic. He let the noise move around him like water around a stone. You are facing the same currents. The difference is the vessel you choose to build. When you try to micromanage a conversation, you lose its truth. When you try to engineer a relationship, you drain its oxygen. When you try to dictate the outcome of your work, you strangle the process. The paradox is simple. You only find the thing you want when you stop reaching for it. We will come back to this paradox when we examine how it lives in your daily rhythm. But first, you must see the cost of your grip. Look at the architecture of ancient bridges. The Romans did not build them by stacking stone against stone in rigid defiance. They used arches. They designed curves that distributed weight through absence. The empty space beneath the bridge is what allows it to hold the load. Your nervous system works the same way. The gap between stimulus and response is your structural arch. You have been filling it with noise. You have been filling it with urgency. You have been filling it with a desperate need to fix, adjust, and correct. And in doing so, you have collapsed your own foundation. Think of the last time you tried to force sleep. You lay awake. You counted. You adjusted the pillow. You commanded your mind to rest. The more you demanded, the more awake you became. The body only sleeps when the mind stops pulling the rope. This is not metaphor. This is physiology. The sympathetic branch of your nervous system fires when you grasp. The parasympathetic branch awakens when you let go. You cannot think your way into calm. You must step back into it. Seneca observed the Roman elite running from one duty to the next. He watched them exhaust themselves managing affairs that would outlast them anyway. He called it a voluntary slavery. They believed they were in control because they were busy. But control is not motion. Control is alignment. You can run all day and move nowhere. You can stand still and arrive exactly where you are meant to be. The difference is not effort. The difference is direction. And direction requires the quiet discipline of withdrawal. You have been trained to equate pulling with progress. You have been taught that retreat is defeat. But the tide does not retreat in shame. It pulls back to gather force. It steps away to return with greater weight. You must learn to read the rhythm of your own tides. When you feel the urge to intervene, to correct, to manage the unmanageable, pause. Ask yourself if you are holding a lever or holding a weight. Levers move things. Weights only tire you. We will return to the distinction between action and reaction shortly. But first, you must recognize where the modern world has inverted the natural law. The year brings new screens. It brings faster networks. It brings the illusion that everything is reachable. Yet the distance between you and your own center has never been wider. You wake to a cascade of notifications. You navigate a maze of expectations. You measure your worth by how quickly you respond. This is the architecture of friction. It demands constant adjustment. It trains you to live in the next second instead of the present one. You are not exhausted by your work. You are exhausted by your posture toward your work. Consider your relationships. You analyze every word. You anticipate every shift. You rehearse conversations before they happen. You carry the emotional weight of another person's choices. You step forward to catch them before they stumble. And in doing so, you rob them of the ground. You rob yourself of peace. The Stoics called this the boundary of the self. What belongs to you is your judgment. What belongs to another is theirs. When you cross that line, you are not helping. You are entangling. Social media amplifies this confusion. It tells you that visibility equals value, that commentary equals influence, that stepping back means disappearing. But the mountain does not shout to prove its height. The deep water does not ripple to prove its depth. You are being sold urgency. You are being sold intervention. You are being sold the lie that your hands must always be busy. But look at the craftsman. He does not force the wood. He reads its grain. He follows the line. He steps back to see the whole. The tool does not shape the material. The patience does. Which pattern do you recognize more clearly in your own days? The urge to manage every variable until it breaks? Or the quiet discipline of stepping away until clarity arrives? Reflect on it. There is no wrong answer, only awareness. We will return to the mechanism of this awareness when we examine how to practice it. But first, you must see the cost of ignoring it. When you grip too tightly, you crush the very thing you wish to protect. You suffocate the conversation. You strain the connection. You fracture the focus. The modern world rewards the loud hand. The ancient path rewards the steady breath. You must choose which master you serve. The tension you feel is not a problem to be solved. It is a signal to be read. It tells you where you are leaning too far forward. It tells you where you have mistaken urgency for purpose. You do not need to abandon your responsibilities. You only need to change your posture toward them. Stand behind them. Do not stand inside them. Let the work move through you instead of moving for you. The paradox remains. You gain control by releasing the handle. You find direction by stopping the search. You build strength by stepping back. We will now examine how to train this reflex in the days ahead. The practice of withdrawal is not passive. It is deliberate. It is the conscious decision to create space between the impulse and the action. You do not wait for the storm to pass. You learn to stand inside the calm. Begin with the morning. Before you touch the screen, before you read the message, before you accept the day's demands, sit. Place your hands open on your knees. Breathe into the lower ribs. Feel the floor beneath you. You are training the nervous system to recognize stillness as a baseline, not a luxury. This is the first step. The second is the boundary. When you feel the pull to intervene in a situation that is not yours, pause. Count 3 breaths. Step back physically if you can. The mind will protest. It will call you negligent. It will whisper that you are losing control. This is the old wiring speaking. It does not know the new architecture. Let it speak. Do not answer. You are building a new pathway. Every time you refuse to grasp, you strengthen the inhibitory circuit. You teach the brain that safety does not require force. You teach it that presence is enough. When you work, apply the same principle. Do not push through exhaustion. Step back. Look away from the page. Walk to the window. Watch the sky shift. Return only when the mind is clear. The work will not collapse because you paused. The work will improve because you stopped. This is not avoidance. This is recalibration. The archer does not aim by pulling harder. He aims by releasing the tension. He finds the line by relaxing the shoulder. The target is not hit by force. It is met by alignment. In your conversations, practice the same geometry. When someone speaks, do not prepare your reply. Listen until they finish. Leave a full second of silence before you answer. You will hear what they actually mean. You will respond from clarity instead of reaction. The space you create is where wisdom enters. Without it, you are only trading noise for noise. You will make mistakes. You will reach for the rope again. You will try to manage what cannot be managed. When this happens, do not condemn yourself. Simply step back again. Reset the posture. Return to the breath. The path is not linear. It is cyclical. You fall forward. You correct backward. You learn the rhythm of the tide. This is where the insight we teased earlier arrives. You cannot command the wind. You cannot command the water. You cannot command the mind of another. But you can command your own distance from them. You can command the width of your own stillness. That is the only true control. Everything else is friction. Everything else is weight. You have been carrying it for years. You can set it down. The floor is beneath you. The air is around you. You only need to stop reaching. You will hear many voices telling you to lean in, to push forward, to seize the moment. They speak from a place of fear. They believe that stillness is empty, that distance is loss, that withdrawal is weakness. You now know the architecture of truth. The strongest structures are built on space. The clearest waters are found in depth. The most enduring control is born from release. Do not confuse retreat with surrender. Retreat is strategy. Surrender is defeat. You step back not to abandon the field. You step back to see the whole field. You step back to choose your ground. The modern age will keep pulling you forward. It will keep selling urgency. It will keep demanding your hands. Let it demand. You know the quiet path. You know the open palm. You know that the weight vanishes when you stop holding it. We return to the beginning. The mind tightens when it fears the fall. The body braces when it expects the strike. But the moment you step back, the nervous system exhales. The command returns. The grip loosens. The weight drops. You are not losing control. You are discovering it. You are not stepping away from your life. You are stepping into it. The rope is still there. The choice is yours. You can pull, or you can release. Forcing control actively degrades your motor cortex, yet deliberate withdrawal triggers a paradoxical surge in neural efficiency. Your nervous system builds command pathways through inhibition, not force. Stepping back literally rewires your physical control.